Hola, bienvenidos amigos. Hello and welcome friends. Steve here, Street Smart Travel. 3 years ago, I arrived here in Ecuador with a carry-on, a backpack, a career-ending shoulder injury, and not much of a plan other than I wanted to get the hell out of Canada. Now, a year ago, I filmed a video which was the top 5 benefits of being in Ecuador for the previous 2 years. I'll leave a link to that video in the description. This video will be basically a check-in, an annual look back at year 3. So compared to year 2, what were the big changes in year 3? I will say year 1 is basically about finding out about the country, getting your bearings, learning more about the culture, the language, making some connections, just trying to figure things out. Year 2 was refining that, going and checking out other parts of the country, making more connections, and revisiting some of the people and places that I'd seen in year 1. Year 3 was a further refinement, and it was better. Year 2 was really good, but year 3 was better than year 2 in every way. And I'm really happy that I made the decision to come down here to Ecuador. By the way, if you are an expat and you're living in a different country than the one you were born and raised in, I would love to hear your insights and your experiences in the comments. Let me know about what it was like to adapt to a new culture, to move to a new place, to start a new life, essentially. It's a little overwhelming for year 1, certainly. And then after that, just things start falling into place, and either you're going to figure it out and enjoy it, or you're going to say, this is not for me, and you go back to where you came from. Luckily for me, it is a very good fit. I'm on my way, well on my way to permanent resident status. Already did temporary residency over the first 2 years. And Ecuador is feeling more and more like home every day. Super glad that I made the choice and came down here. One of the best decisions I've ever made in my life. So if, like I was done with the West, if you're feeling like that, like, oh, I really don't see a future here in wherever it is you're living, Canada, the States, Western Europe, wherever, just know, as long as you have a valid passport and no criminal record, the world's your oyster. It's your call. If choosing to stay and fight isn't maybe the best option, then for me it wasn't, then choosing to get up and leave and vote with my feet and move to a part of the world where I felt much better, much more respected, much freer, happier, healthier, everything. It was and continues to be one of the best decisions that I've ever made. The 5 big changes in year number 3 of living in Ecuador. Big change number 1. I stopped fighting. I stopped fighting Latin culture. I stopped fighting Tiempo Latino. I stopped trying to superimpose my Western lens of this is the way life is where I lived for the first 50 years of my life, and then somehow expecting that those same elements carry over to a different country. And you can find those videos. I saw one recently of somebody from the States who was complaining, oh, this is affordable. Like, they're in Ecuador buying stuff and just looking at products that they would be able to find in the States and buy down here at a premium. And you got to think, if you're going to another country, things that were readily available in the country that you come from, if you're going to find them in the place that you are now settled in, they had to get there somehow. Right? They're not manufactured there. You're not going to find a Skippy peanut butter plant down here, or Kraft, or whatever. They have versions of those things, and some people are very particular, like, I really need to have Kraft peanut butter, or Kraft macaroni and cheese, or whatever it happens to be. Fair enough, but then you're going to pay a premium to get it. But if you are set on living life the same way that you were living it in the place that you just left, if you think that's going to exist in the place where you're going, you could probably find an approximation. You could import whatever you want, but there's going to be a lot of taxes on that. So it's much easier to stop fighting, let go of the life that you just left, and realize things are going to be different. It took me, I think, year 3, I finally wrapped my head around it. We'll see when I check back in on year 4, if that's the case. I just stopped fighting, like Tiempo Latino. I'm never going to change that. It's not going to happen. Right? They have a version of time and a laid-back pace of life, and that's the way it is. And if you can't roll with that, then Latin America is probably not for you. So that was big change number 1. Had elements of that in years 1 and 2, but year 3 is just like Bruce Lee, right? be water, my friend. Be water. Just flow with it. You're not going to stop the river. There's no point in fighting it. Why would you bother doing that? Big change number 2 is Ecuador feels a lot more like home in year 3. Just because I've been here, right, for 2 full years beforehand. I finished temporary residency status. My visa's complete, and now I'm working on permanent resident status. And I'm well on my way to getting that knocked out. I've got my time in for this year. I have to do another 6 months next year, and that's it. Then I need to be here at least one day every 2 years to maintain that into perpetuity. And if I want, I can go for citizenship. I'm not sold on that. Don't know if I want to put in the time and effort, but definitely permanent residency was part of my goal when I came down here, to have an escape hatch out of the West for when things went from bad to really bad, and it looks like that's happening. I cannot tell you how much happier I am living down here and how much more I feel at home to be living in South America instead of the dumpster fire that once was the great country of Canada. I have a lot of friends who are there. I've met a bunch of expats in my last few weeks here in Cuenca, mostly from the US, some from Canada, and they all express the same thing, like, we're done with it, right? We're not going to stay and fight. We want to find a better place to live where we're happier and healthier and the weather's better and people are friendlier and a lot less stress and all of these things. And that's definitely been my experience. And in year 3, it really drove that home, that I just feel like I'm Ecuadorian. As much as I'm going to be accepted into the culture of a different country, I think year 3 was crossing the Rubicon for me. Like, I'm there now. And it's a really good feeling. I'm super happy to be living down here and love the people and the culture down here in Ecuador. A very welcome change. Big change number 3, health. My health has been really good in all my time down here. Little things like I had allergies in Canada, seasonal allergies that made it really difficult to sleep and function. And even outside of seasonal allergies, I was having trouble sleeping with this shoulder injury and just a whole bunch of other things. I don't have that down here. So on that basis alone, this move has been fantastic. Other things concerning my health, for years 1 and 2, I was having very rarely, but occasionally, some stomach issues, gastric distress. I don't know if that was the food or the water or something else. And it wasn't horrible, but it was noticeable. And in this past year, 2025, I haven't had any gastric issues at all, which is a very welcome change. My body has basically adapted to life down here in Ecuador, and that's all over the country. That could be up in the mountains. I'm in Cuenca right now, so higher elevation. Could be down on the coast, in the jungle, rainforest, whatever it is. My body feels great, and my health is really good. And a big thing I should mention now is when I first got down here, I was not in a great place mentally. Let's say I was super stressed out and just tired of lockdowns. I came down here in 2022. Canada was badly affected, let's say, by the disease that shall not be named. And I knew I needed to get out of there. And I knew that having a different environment, being in a healthier place, would be a huge boost mentally. And it took a few months to adapt and adjust. But when I realized, oh, wait, I actually have freedom down here. Not in name. I have freedom in practice. It was a much better fit for me, and something definitely consider. If you're feeling really stressed or burned out or just done with wherever you're living right now, sometimes a change of pace, even if it's temporary. Take a month or a couple weeks of vacation and just try something else to reset your mental and physical health. So better health is big change number 3. It was really good, again, in year 2, but in year 3, whole new level. Big change number 4. Way happier in general. I wake up literally every day excited for the day, like a little kid. Like, oh, what am I going to do today? Basically, whatever I want. Fantastic. Very welcome change. I don't remember feeling that happy in Canada for a long time. A long, long time. And I didn't see things getting better when I first left. And of course, when you come to a different country, there's an adjustment period. And so it's not like everything was sunshine, rainbows, and teddy bears, and unicorns. But over time, I'm like, yeah, there's actually, on balance, the things down here I'm much more comfortable with. And I just am in a better mood all the time, and I find myself I'll catch myself smiling. Today, for example, this is Friday, November 28th. We were at Parque de la Madre down the street doing the Frisbee Friday that they do every Friday there with the expats. And a bunch of school-age kids came by, a group of girls, so we started playing Frisbee with them. And then a younger group of kids came by and they wanted to play Frisbee. And because I was the most bilingual of the expats, they're like, hey, come here. So we're playing. And I took a break after about 40 minutes, and they're like yelling and screaming, hey, Steve, come here. So you go back, like, that never happened in Canada, right? Literally, in my entire life. And here it's just Friday afternoon. Hey, these kids want to play and have a good time. And people down here, as I mentioned in other videos, they prioritize having fun in their lives. It's important to them. Family, number one and most important thing, and having fun, number two, maybe number three. So it's a refreshing change of pace, and I do feel much better adjusted and way happier being down here in Ecuador. That was a big change in year number 3. Big change number 5. This one is huge. In year number 3, so 2025, I am on track to complete the year spending less than $2,000 US. Not for a month, for the entire year, 2,000. Last year, 2024, my entire budget down here for everything. Food, accommodations, the cell phone, transportation, entertainment, everything that I did came in just under $2,450 US. And there's only the month of December to go. And it's not going to be one of my more expensive months. I already know I'm going to the Amazon for a bit, and then I'm heading out of Ecuador for a few months to do some more exotic travel, let's say. So in year 3, I really perfected my volunteering model. And if you're interested in knowing more about that, how I can keep my expenses so low, it's really pretty simple. My first full month when I came down to Ecuador, that was December 2022, I spent over $500, like well over $500, and over $300 of that was just accommodations, Airbnbs. That's only $10 a night, right? That's not that much. But I was looking at my budget over time and going, if I could find a way that I had a place to stay and like room and board, place to stay and food provided, there's about 75 to 80% of my budget. And it took a while, but I came up with a volunteering system. It's worked really well. I perfected it this year. So I went from living on about $205 US a month, now down to about 167. And I won't have the final numbers on that until the end of December, but it'll be at or just under $2,000 based on where I'm at right now. And to think, like, how far would $2,000 get me in Canada? Like, it would get me through a month, mostly through a month. And here I can do a full year. So that is a huge deal. So again, let me just summarize the top 5 big changes in year number 3 down here in Ecuador. Change number 1, I stopped fighting. Just surrendered and accepted this is the way life is down here. And as soon as you stop fighting, things become way easier and more enjoyable. Change number 2, it feels like home down here. A little bit it did in year 2, but year 3, that just really landed. I can't even identify a single event. I just feel completely at home down here. Change number 3, my health improved from an already really good place. And my body feels like it's completely acclimated and adapted to life and food and culture and everything down here. Big change number 4 is I'm way happier. I've been happy since I got down here in 2022, and I've just somehow become even happier with the passage of time. And I can guarantee you it would not have turned out like that if I would have remained in Canada. Big change number 5. I've perfected my system, my volunteering system down here, to the point where I'm living on $2,000 a year. I've unlocked infinite travel down here. What I mean by that is I have more than $2,000 a year in income, passive income, investment income, real estate income, that funds my lifestyle down here. And as long as I have more money coming in than I have going out, I can continue to travel on this basis, literally indefinitely. That is a huge upside that I had not anticipated with this model. Now, If you're interested in learning more about that volunteer model and how I'm using it and how I'm perfecting it, I will be doing a video in December, not exactly sure when, probably mid-December, and I'll unpack in more detail how I found this volunteering, what I do, how I manage to work out the inefficiencies and make sure that it really serves me, while at the same time I'm using my time to serve people in meaningful ways in exchange for very low living expenses and the ability to have full cultural immersion, to get to eat and live and hang out with people. If I was traveling in a hostel or hotels or whatever, it would be a very different experience. But this is boots on the ground, breaking bread with people, getting invited into their lives, into their communities. It's a very intimate way to travel, and it's way more rewarding than any kind of travel I've ever done. Highly, highly recommend it. I'm also just now finishing off the finishing tweaks on a website and got some stuff to make sure that it's up and functional, but I'll get there. And when I do, I'll make an announcement about that. And that site is about the volunteering system I've perfected and about reinvention in retirement, let's say. So putting more purpose into your life and doing things that you enjoy, but that also serve other people and that provide you with the ability to live a very, very simple and rewarding life. And I can't think of a better way to spend the rest of my life. It's a very intentional approach. So that's coming probably mid to late December. We'll see how that goes. And also, I'm taking this volunteering model up to Colombia. So I'll test it out in a different country. That should be in about a month's time. I should be up there if everything goes according to plan. And we'll see how that goes. Knock wood. So thank you for sticking around. Hopefully you've gained some insights. And if, like I said, if you're an expat and you've had similar experiences, please hit me up in the comments. Let me know. Because there are phases. You go through a honeymoon phase where everything's really amazing, and then after that it's like, this sucks and that sucks, and how come they can't figure this out? Like where I was living before was like this, and I preferred it, and I'm at the acceptance / surrender phase. Everything is great. Like there's things that are still going sideways. The last couple of years in this country have not been good for this country, but they haven't really affected me that much, and that's huge. I know how to navigate around those situations. If there's a problem up north, I'll go to the coast or come down south. If there's a problem on the coast, I go up north or into the jungle. Like, it's very easy and very fun and very rewarding. So like I said, thank you if you made it this far in the video. Looking forward to the next few videos and to unpacking this volunteering system and stress testing it across a border to see if it stands up, and if it doesn't, what do I have to do to modify it so that I can roll it out across other countries as I explore other parts of South and Central America and ideally other parts of the world. Thanks again for your time. Have a great weekend. Happy trails. See you out on the road.